I only have to turn out the lights in my living room, pull the drapes, and turn on my projector. There, glittering on the screen, I can see my town in its party dress, and see again those who shone so vividly across the horizon.
A young lady who has created a real sensation in the picture business, having won all kinds of awards as the #1 newcomer of the year. And believe me, a swell gal with it. Take it from me, I know her for a long time. Miss Marilyn Monroe. Come on out here, Marilyn. Marilyn, it's so nice of you to come here. You know, they say that beauty is a thing of, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I want to tell you, someday you're going to make a man a wonderful annuity. Come on over here a little closer. This is your television premiere, isn't it, Mariel?
That's right. It feels almost like making pictures.
Ah, yeah. Listen, I want to tell you something. Up to this time, television has been a medium, but now I say it's well done. Marilyn, I want to ask you one thing. I wonder if after, you know, I know, Marilyn, when's the first time we met? Let's tell the folks.
Well, once you almost gave me a job.
That's right. Do you remember?
After a year's absence, Marilyn Monroe flew back to Los Angeles from New York and answered reporters' questions.
How do you feel about coming back to Hollywood? Is it a happy time for you, or?
Yes, it is a very happy time. I'm happy to be back. As I said, it's my hometown.
Yes.
Well, you're a happy girl now. When you go to London? Well, yes, I'm much happier though. I'm very pleased.
Is it true that you submitted a list of directors that you would work with? We only know the rumors we hear, you know.
I would rather say that I have director approval, and that is true.
This you think is important?
Yes, it is. Very important to me.
Marilyn, are you happy to come back and do this picture? Are you pleased with the picture bus stop?
Oh, yes, very much. I'm looking forward to working with Josh Logan and doing the picture, and it's good to be back.
Was he your selection as a director?
20th Century Fox selected him, and I have director approval, and they asked if I would approve of him, and definitely
you did. So you're very happy. You think you're going to make a very good picture?
I hope it will be a good picture.
Do you feel, you said you wanted to grow. Do you feel you have grown?
Well, I hardly know how to answer that, since they misinterpret that, meaning
I'm not
in inches or something.
I'm not talking about that. Well, Marilyn, speaking of measurements, are they still the same as when you left? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight?
I think I'm about the same.
About the same.
Yes.
Nobody has any complaints.
I don't know.
Speak up, boys. You're wearing a high-neck dress now. The last time I saw you wear it. Is this a new Marilyn, a new style?
No, I'm the same person, but it's a different suit.
It's the first for Miss Monroe's new production company and will be distributed by Warner Brothers. Whenever and wherever she appeared, Marilyn set the town aflutter. The high point of the trip, however, was a Royal Command performance where the Hollywood movie queen met the Queen of England.
If you follow the sport pages, you may have noticed a recent picture of Miss Marilyn Monroe taken with the Pittsburgh Pirate baseball team. A Louisville sports editor summed it up when he said, "It's the best the Pirates have looked since before they blew the 1927 World Series." To present the award for sound recording, Miss Marilyn Monroe.
Because it is such a highly cooperative enterprise, this award is not given to an individual. It goes to a sound recording department. Those nominated are All About Eve, 20th Century Fox, Cinderella, Walt Disney Productions, RKO Radio. Louisa, Universal International. Our very own Samuel Goldwyn Productions, RKO Radio. And Trio, J. Arthur Rank, Sydney Box, Paramount British. The envelope, please. The winner, All About Eve.
The sound department of 20th Century Fox has previously won 3 awards for sound recording. Wilson in 1944, The Snake Pit in 1948, and 12 O'Clock High in 1949.
A Hollywood incident that marks another salute to CinemaScope finds Stanley Gordon, West Coast editor of Look, presenting the first copy of the current issue of that magazine to Marilyn Monroe. An overture called for because Marilyn shares the cover with Lauren Bacall and Betty Grable, the trio of female fascinators who produced the high comedy in How to Marry a Millionaire, which will be one of the first CinemaScope pictures.
On behalf of Look magazine, I'd like to present to you the Look Achievement Award as the most outstanding feminine newcomer of 1952. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lauren. And my thanks to Look magazine.
And as Best Young Box Office Personality, Miss Marilyn Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. This award leaves me sort of breathless, but I'd like to say thanks a million.
Another handsome trophy to add to her ever-growing collection. And there'll be more after Marilyn's role in Niagara, her latest 20th Century Fox picture in Technicolor.
It's a great thrill, and I'm very appreciative to everyone who has made this possible.
Marilyn Monroe, it gives me the greatest pleasure to present the famous Photoplay magazine Gold Medal Award as the selection of all of the moviegoers of America who have voted you the most popular actress of the year. My congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. I want to thank the editors of Photoplay magazine and all of the public. I thank you very much.
Marilyn broke off filming to go to New York for President Kennedy's birthday salute. In front of 15,000 Democrats, she would sing Happy Birthday to the President.
Anyway, Mr. President, because in the history of show business, perhaps there has been no one female who meant so much, who has done more. Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
It would be her last important appearance in public.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Thanks, Mr. President, for all the things you've done, the battles that you've won, the way you deal with U.S. Steel and our problems by the ton. We thank you so much. Everybody, happy birthday!
Historian Arthur Schlesinger met her at a party afterwards. One felt a terrible uncertainty, he wrote, as if talking to someone underwater.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Robert Kennedy had brought his wife, but the president came alone. Jackie Kennedy was riding in Virginia.
I can now retire from politics after having had Happy Birthday sung to me in such a sweet, wholesome way.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, with stars from the stage and screen, headed by Marilyn Monroe, sensation of the forthcoming film The 7-Year Itch, holds the gala world premiere of its 85th edition at New York City's Madison Square Garden. Celebrities and the man in the street crowd Hollywood's famous boulevard to attend the CinemaScope premiere of How to Marry a Millionaire, the first romantic comedy to be filmed in the new miracle medium. Supplemented by George Bowser, Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall, Nunnally Johnson, and Marilyn Monroe. A dish to set before a king. How to Marry a Millionaire in CinemaScope.
Never know how much I love you, never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning.
Parmi les invités ce soir, Monsieur et Madame Miller, Arthur Miller et Marilyn Monroe. Well, Mrs. Miller, do you speak French? Est-ce que vous parlez français?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. My husband does.
Not a word?
Oui.
Oui, oh, that's good.
all.
Do you enjoy the ball tonight?
Oh, yes.
Well,
Beautiful.
you can say oui. That's why I asked
Oui.
the question. Merci. Monsieur Miller, vous parlez français, je crois.
Non. Pas en France.
Pas en France? Pourquoi vous considérez que vous êtes en France ce soir?
Mais certainement.
C'est vrai. Merci Marilyn Monroe. Merci Monsieur Miller.
It's the annual dinner of the Friars in New York, and only one woman shares the dais, Marilyn Monroe, seated with Eddie Fisher. The boys are honored for their efforts in behalf of the Muscular Dystrophy Associations, their favorite charity, and receive fire hats symbolic of the firefighters' march for muscular dystrophy, which they led. From Milton Berle, master of ceremonies for the dinner, the Friars' own Oscars, symbolic of top performances on and off stage.
I love you. I love you, Jerry.
Слушайте, мы, то есть американские власти.
From an entertainer's point of view, what did you think of the show today?
It was a very interesting afternoon.
What did you find most interesting?
Nearly everything.
What did you think of the ad-libs?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Is this what you expected here today? What did you come expecting?
Roast beef.
I expected it to be interesting.
Nuova York. Vi parla Ruggero Orlando dalla sede dell'Istituto Italiano di Cultura, dove una riproduzione in bassorilievo e in oro del magnifico Davide di Donatello viene presentato a una delle più grandi e più popolari attrici cinematografiche del mondo, Marilyn Monroe. La presentazione viene fatta a nome del Open Gate Club di Roma per il lavoro in cui ella ha partecipato Il principe e la ballerina, dal professor Filippo Donini, direttore dell'Istituto di Cultura. Filippo, ci fai vedere questo Davide di Donatello?
Ecco la bella riproduzione del capolavoro dello scultore fiorentino che rappresenta il Davide alla grande attrice decretata la migliore attrice del 1958, la migliore attrice straniera.
Qui la folla non è soltanto enorme per quantità, ma anche per qualità. Abuno disse omnes. Anna? C'è qui Anna Magnani che si trova ora a New York per le riprese del film La discesa di Orfeo di Tennessee Williams. Vuol dire due parole tra stelle io mi sottraggo.
Bravo, così io mi faccio un po' di posto qua. Congratulazioni. You know what that means? Congratulations because you deserve it very much. I'm very happy.
Grazie.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you want to say in Italian?
What do you want to say? Anything.
Sono commosso.
Anna Magnani fa la suggeritrice.
Sono commossa.
Oh, that's lovely.
And
grazie.
I'm very moved, she said.
Sono commossa and grazie.
Grazie. What that means? Tell us what that means in English, will you, Marilyn?
Thank you.
What do you think of this tremendous crowd, this tremendous demonstration here?
I'm very moved.
Grazie, Marilyn. Yeah.
Marilyn, how do you feel about the fact that it always looks as though they have to call out the riot squad every time you appear anywhere?
Is this why you
Honored.
Is this why you don't like to come out more often than you do?
I love to come out.
Marilyn, how do you feel about all this madness? Every time you come out and make a public appearance, looks as though we're all going to die of suffocation in here. Does it bother you that you cause such a turmoil?
I'm honored.
Marilyn, what's responsible for the improvement in your keeping time a little better than you did before?
I believe in improvement.
And you have been improving, there's no doubt about it. But what inspired it, or who inspired it?
I guess maturity inspires it.
I see. Is that about getting here on time, Marilyn? You mean about getting here on time?
Yes, I was punctual.
Oh, you were punctual. Does this mean you've turned over a new leaf?
I hope so.
Does it bother you that you caused such a turmoil?
They could be warmer.
Marilyn, you got an award from the Italians. Do you feel that they know the most about movie making in the world?
Well, they've made some of the best pictures that have ever been made. And I can't tell you how deeply moved I am that they've awarded me this award that they take very seriously. And I receive it the same way.
Would you say that you take acting very seriously?
I'm afraid I do.
Thanks, Marilyn. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Everything
Count to 10 now. Okay, we're rolling, huh?
Well, we're here to make the 7-year itch.
Location shots on the 7-year itch?
Uh-huh.
That's your latest picture, right?
Yes.
You just finished a picture called There's No Business Like Show Business.
That's right, with Ethel Merman and John O'Connor and...
There's no picture like that one, I understand. A wonderful one and a great job. You did the best job. Well, it's the only picture you've done since you got married, isn't it?
Yes, it's the only one I've done.
The one before that was How to Marry a Millionaire, is that right? Or River of No Return, I believe it was.
Yes, we won't talk about that.
Oh. So you're banking everything now on the 7-year itch.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it very much.
I understand there's some fabulous location shots going to be made next Saturday night on Lexington Avenue when you do the Coney Island treatment, you know, walking over the subway grating and a gust of wind catches you and so forth. I imagine you'll stop traffic again on Saturday night.
Well, I'm looking forward to working in it very much.
I hear that you're getting to be quite a cook, too. Joe says you can really broil a mean steak.
Well, I'm learning. A little slow, but...
Sherry didn't come along with you, huh?
No.
Did he see you off in Hollywood last night?
Oh, yes.
Do you expect to return with him to the World Series?
I wish I could, but I'll be finishing this picture
Uh-huh.
when
the World Series,
yes. I've never seen the World Series, and I would love to, but we just can't seem to fit the schedule together.
Well, you brought your hairdresser and your drama coach and 4 men from 20th Century Fox. All this and no Joe, huh?
Okay.
Let's go.
Ed, this is my wife, Amy.
Good evening, Amy.
Marilyn.
Good evening, Mr. Monroe.
Good evening, Marilyn.
How do you do, Mr. Monroe?
Marilyn, I was asking Milton what you thought of that look cover that he did of you.
I liked it very much, although I like most of Milton's pictures.
Uh-huh. Well, now, your picture has been on the cover of almost all popular magazines, hasn't it?
No, not the Ladies' Home Journal.
That you would like, would you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I used to long for it. I used to appear on, when I was modeling, on men's magazine covers, such as, I don't know, Squint, Peep, Take a Peep, all those things.
But not the Ladies' Home Journal.
No.
Marilyn, tell me, how did you three meet?
Well...
I met him in California.
I really met Milton first. I was working on a set in Hollywood, and one of the look writers came over to the set one day and asked me if I'd like to look at some pictures in a portfolio, and I said yes, I'd like to. And I saw the most beautiful pictures I'd ever seen. And I said I'd like for this photographer to photograph me. And he says, well, here he is. And I turned and looked, and I said, but he's just a boy.
And what did you have to say to that, Milton?
Well, he's just a girl.
Comedian.
Amy, that looks like a large dining room and kitchen. Are you the cook?
No, I'm not. We have a wonderful girl by the name of Sadie Ingram. She's not with us tonight. But we're very proud of this kitchen, Ed. Milton built the table.
With the help of Kurt.
Amy, tell me, does Marilyn know her way around the kitchen? Is she very much help around the house?
Well, yes, she is. She's sort of an ideal guest. She's not trouble to anyone, and she picks up after herself, and she's just fine. You don't even know she's around.
Does she make her own bed?
Yes, she does, and she helps me with the baby to bathe him.
And cleans her own room?
Yes, she does.
Uh-huh. Has she ever come in handy as a babysitter?
Well, that's it.
On quite a number of occasions.
Yes, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Milton, about this matter of Monroe Productions.
Yes?
Have you and the president of the company had any offers yet?
Excuse me, why don't we go into a more comfortable room?
All right. Where are we going now, Amy?
This is our den
Uh-huh.
with the books and television set and a nice warm fire. It's chilly tonight.
Oh, Milton, I was asking you just before you moved about Monroe Productions.
Yes?
Have you and the president had any offers yet?
Oop, there's the telephone, Ed. That's another offer. Yes, we've had quite a few, Ed. We had some for TV and the theater, in Europe and here, movies, books, real estate.
But you haven't decided on any one yet, is that it?
No, we're got a few things in mind, but nothing definite as yet.
Marilyn, tell me, what's the basic reason for this corporation?
Primarily to contribute to help making good pictures.
Well, would it be fair to say that you got rather tired of playing the same kind of roles all the time and wanted to try something different?
Well, it's not that I object to doing musicals or comedies. In fact, I rather enjoy it. But I would like to do also dramatic parts too.
Amy, are you in the corporation too?
No, I'm not. I sort of take care of Milton, who's very important, and Josh, and Marilyn.
That's even more important, isn't it, Josh?
Yes. He's sound asleep, by the way.
Marilyn, what's the best part you ever had in a movie?
Well, one of the best parts I've ever had was in the Asphalt Jungle, John Huston's picture, and then 7 Year Itch with, well, Billy Wilder's picture.
You think that's going to be a big one too, don't you?
Pardon?
You think that's going to be a big one too, don't you, the 7 Year Itch?
Yes, I think it'll be a very good picture, and I would like to continue making this type of picture.
Well, now, what's the smallest part you ever had?
2 I can think of. One in a picture called Ticket to Tomahawk. I had one word. Well, not exactly a word. I said, and then,
Scudda-ho, scudda-hey.
Scudda-hoo, scudda-hey.
Was that all you had to say?
No, in a picture called Scudda-hoo, scudda-hey, I had one word to say. I said, hello, but it went fast. In fact, I cut it out.
Who's helped you most in your movie career, Marilyn?
Well, a number of people have contributed greatly. I think when John Huston wanted me for the part in Asphalt Jungle, and I think when Billy Wilder wanted me for the part in 7 Year Itch, I think that was very important. Also, working with my coach, Natasha Leitez. She's helped me very much from the very beginning. And I also got a great deal from attending classes with Michael Chekhov.
I notice you mentioned 2 directors. Have you found Huston and Wilder important to you?
Yes, very much so.
Well, Marilyn, now that, how do you mean important? I mean, do you play a part in order to impress them or please them?
Definitely. I think when you have a very good director, of course you... In fact, I think the story is very important. But even personally, more important to me than the story is the director, because the director usually has a good story. A good director usually has a good story. A director, I think, can contribute a lot, because when you feel that when you're acting and the director is with you and not just sitting by as just as the audience.
Yes.
But he's really with you every moment, everything you do. I think it's very important. It has been to me.
Well, Marilyn, now that you're a New Yorker, how do you like this city anyway?
Oh, I love it. Everyone's very friendly, and it's a very optimistic, friendly city.
How do you like Connecticut?
I like it. It's the first time I'd ever seen the woods. And I love to walk in the woods with the dogs, and I enjoy it.
Where are the dogs?
Well, are you always recognized wherever you go in the nearby towns and in New York?
No, not really. I can put on an old polo coat and no makeup and get along pretty well.
Is that right, Milton?
What's that?
Is that right, that she can go about without being recognized?
Well, sometimes it seems that way. Other times,
Oh, the funny thing was, remember that day in the taxi
oh, yes,
cab?
that's right.
It was when she came to do the window scenes for the 7 Year Itch.
Yes.
And we were depositing her back at her hotel, and there were about 5 million people outside. And the taxi cab driver turned around to the 3 of us, Marilyn in the middle, and said, "Hey, you know who's in there? Marilyn Monroe."
Marilyn, I saw some pictures of you the other day riding an elephant at the circus. Did you have fun?
Ooh, I loved it. It was wonderful. It was a pink elephant.
Uh-huh. Did you have any practice before you rode it?
No, I hadn't, but I enjoyed it very much. I became quite fond of the elephant. He was very nice. And the people were wonderful. All the crowds and everything.
Especially the ones way up in the back.
Yes, that's right. I was telling Amy before about the people up in the balcony, way up in the far, far balcony. They were especially friendly. But I think it meant a lot probably because I hadn't been to a circus as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I like circuses.
I think we all do. Thank you very much, Milton, Amy, and Marilyn, for letting us come and visit you in your home in Connecticut this evening.
Good night, Mr. Morrow.
Good night, Merrill. Good night.
Life could be a dream, life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom. Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and open we'll meet again. Boom, ding dong, ding dong, a lang, a lang, a lang. Oh, whoa, whoa, bip, a bip, a dip. Oh, life could be a dream. If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you, life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine.
Oh, life could be a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, and tell me, darling, I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hope we meet again. Boom, ding dong, ding dong, a lang a lang a lang a lang a lang. Oh, dip, a bip, a dip. Oh, life could be a dream. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Whoa. a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, you tell me, darling, I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hope we meet again. Boom, boom, boom. Ding dong, ding dong, a lang a lang a lang a lang a lang. Whoa, bip, a bip, a do, a dip. Whoa, life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom.
The Boardwalk Parade of the Atlantic City Beauty Pageant features a non-competitor. She's Marilyn Monroe, a glamorous new star of Monkey Business, the film which also boasts such stars as Cary Grant, Ginger Rogers, and Charles Coburn. Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell are welcomed by George Bowser, manager of the Fox West Coast Theaters, as they arrive to make their imprints in the famous concrete of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Filmdom's first blonde and first brunette, Marilyn and Jane won their chance to join Filmdom's immortals by their work in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, the Technicolor adaptation of the sensationally humorous musical comedy stage hit. Hollywood's photogs delight in the contrasting duo who, despite their clashing roles in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, offstage are as friendly as sorority sisters. A popular Broadway New York theater radiates glamour for the sneak preview of the CinemaScope version of The 7-Year Itch and the birthday of its star, the incomparable Marilyn Monroe, who thrills the theatrical district with a personal appearance escorted by the great Joe DiMaggio. Miss Monroe wears a short, tight-fitting evening dress molded to the figure with the popular V neckline. A vision of delight.
With her unsmiling husband at the premiere of Some Like It Hot, Marilyn strutted for the fans. She had the right. The picture was a smash. She was getting 10% of the growth.
think Judge Griffith was right in penalizing me. I don't really believe in ignoring traffic citations.
I didn't like the world around me too much because it was kind of grim. But I loved playing. And I loved playing with the children in the neighborhood, you know, running out and playing. We could imagine anything and pretend anything.
Not until 11, after 2 years in an orphanage, did she find a more permanent home with a new guardian, one of her mother's former co-workers.
She was a lovely, lovely girl, and we loved her. And she called us Aunt Doris and Uncle Chet. It was wonderful to have her at the beach with us. She was just a happy teenager, playing in the water and just doing cartwheels and really enjoying herself. We bought her her first bathing suits. She was so thrilled. We had been asked to adopt her, and we really, really considered it because we loved her. She fitted in with our family beautifully, but finally we decided not to because we already had 3 daughters, and we just really felt we had enough to take care of.
exaggeration, that's my Marilyn.
No gal, I believe, beginning with thee,
could weave a fascination like my Marilyn. She made me a poet, dreaming up romantic things.
though she may not know it.
She's all mine in my dreams.
He planned everything, the church and the ring.
The one I haven't told it to is Marilyn.
She hasn't said yes.
I have to confess, I haven't kissed or even met my Marilyn. But if luck is with me,
she'll be my bride forevermore.
I'll be marrying, carrying Marilyn through my door. But if luck is with me, she'll be my bride forevermore. I'll be marrying, carrying Marilyn through my door.
For when those wedding bells chime, my Marilyn will be mine.
a fabulous face. That's no exaggeration, that's my Marilyn. No gal, I believe, beginning with E, could weave a fascination like my Marilyn. She made me a poet, dreaming up romantic things. Though she may not know it, she's all mine in my dream. He planned everything, the church and the ring. The one I haven't told her to is Marilyn. She hasn't said yes. I have to confess, I haven't kissed or even met my Marilyn. But if luck is with me, she'll be my bride forevermore. I'll be marrying, carrying Marilyn through my door. But if luck is with me, she'll be my bride forevermore. I'll be marrying, carrying Marilyn through my door. For when those wedding bells chime, my Marilyn will be mine.
an old candy store, and,
Church. It's a great thrill, and I'm very appreciative to everyone who's made this possible.
Oh, Johnny Ray.
Why, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Marilyn.
Thank you, Mr. Samus. It's a great thrill, and I'm very appreciative to all who's... Let's start again.
Thank you, Mr.
Here we go
Samus.
again. Quiet.
Thank you, Mr. Samus. It's a great thrill, and I'm very appreciative to all who have made this possible.
Here we go. Lucky winners.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Look at all the nuts you can put in there. Oh, that's nice, Mr. Nichols. Hello, Harvey!
On behalf of the government of Singapore, I would like to...
Do we, I hope the audience doesn't mind I get in front of Marilyn every once in a while, but do we get one of these, each of us?
No, we go to everyone's house and look at it.
Oh.
See? Well, that's
Are they
nice
still
of
shooting
you.
this thing?
Yes, they're rolling, so don't talk
That
dirty.
little clicking sound, you can tell.
Yeah.
You know, one more, we could have a minion.
We certainly could. How was that? Good?
Marilyn, why did you walk away from me? Why did you want to leave me?
Because I can't trust myself with you.
What?
You're so strong and I'm so weak. And when you look at me with those big blue eyes, I just...
I understand.
In the picture, all I wanted was money and diamonds. But now, for the first time, I realize that all I really want is you.
Meryl.
Dream on, Mr. Benny, dream on.
Marilyn. Marilyn, I'm mad about you.
I'm mad about you, too, Jack. Jack?
Yeah.
Jack? Will you do something wonderful for me? It would make me very happy.
Well, of course, Marilyn. I'd do anything. Anything for you. What is it?
Well, in my next picture, there's going to be so many love scenes. I want you for my leading man.
Oh, Marilyn, I'd love to be your leading man.
Good. Now, if we can only get permission from Darryl Zanuck.
Why? Who did Mr. Zanuck have in mind?
Himself.
Gee, Marilyn, I just can't get over. Just the both of us here, all alone on the Lurley.
Yes, Jack. I never dreamed it could happen to I.
Neither did me. Marilyn, why are you sighing?
I was just thinking, Jack, how generous you are. Just so we could be alone on this trip, you chartered the Laureline for $600,000.
I did?
If that doesn't wake him up, nothing will.
Marilyn, I know this is sudden, but will you marry me?
Marry? But look at the difference in our ages.
Well, there isn't much difference, Marilyn. You're 25 and I'm 39.
Yes, but what about 25 years from now, when I'm 50 and you're 39?
Gee, I never thought of that.
I did.
You shut up! Marilyn, will you have dinner with me tonight?
I'd love to, Jack. Thanks ever so.
At 8 o'clock?
All right, but I better be going now. Bye-bye, baby. Remember, you're my baby. When they give you the eye, though I'll be gone for a while, I know that I'll be smiling with my baby by and by, and by with my baby. Bye. My, that's strange.
What's strange?
I'm so crazy about you, but that kiss didn't affect me at all.
That's funny. I'm a wreck.
See you later, Jack.
Don't forget. Marilyn, don't forget dinner tonight.
I won't.
At 8 o'clock. Thank you very, very much. Marilyn, this is your first appearance in television, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Jack.
Well, I'm quite flattered that you made your first appearance on my show. I really am. Just wonderful to have you. Have you a picture that's coming out pretty soon, a new picture? I mean, we've seen Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Another one, new one?
Yes, it's called How to Marry a Millionaire. It's also in CinemaScope.
Oh, it is? In CinemaScope, too?
Yes.
You know, I made a picture once. The horn blows at midnight. And I believe if that had been made in CinemaScope, it would have been a huge success.
Well, you know, CinemaScope is very complicated. In order to put the big screen in all the theaters, they have to take out a lot of seats.
Mm-hmm. Well, in my picture, they could have taken out all of the seats.
Jack,
What?
I don't know why you're always panning The Horn Blows at Midnight. I saw it.
You did?
Yes.
And you don't know why I'm panning it? Did you like it?
No.
Well, thanks ever so. So long. Goodbye, Marilyn.
Romance that thrills the world. The marriage of Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio attracts a record crowd to the San Francisco court where the ceremony is performed. Two top-flight performers living up to long-established reputations as outstanding drawing cards. Congratulations in which all movie lovers and baseball fans join. And now the pair are off for their happy honeymoon. The girl who starred in How to Marry a Millionaire, giving another starring performance in How to Marry a Baseball Hero. Nice work, Marilyn, and the same to you, Joe.
Only 14 days earlier here in San Francisco, the press had announced to the world the marriage of the Yankee Clipper to the star of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Always on the lookout for the latest scoop, the press people had spread the rumor that today, January 24th, 1954, the couple was leaving on their honeymoon for Japan.
Well-known honeymoon couple arrives at Tokyo airport, a throng of 4,000 baseball and movie fans surge out of control, break through police lines. Joe DiMaggio and his bride smile bravely at their greeters, but they don't dare move. So back into the plane they go, while police clear a path to the cargo hatch with DiMaggio's convertible. The stratagem works. The former Yankee slugger and his picture bride escape into the car and head for the safety of their hotel. But their troubles aren't over. Next day comes a press conference where the public was barred, but the photographers and reporters more than made up for that. Their questions were rough, ranging from the risque to the ridiculous. And Joe, he's the forgotten man, which is something in Japan where baseball is so popular. I mean, never underestimate the power of you-know-who. But enough's enough. His patience is exhausted, and Joe says, go.
4 days later, Monroe visits the American Military Hospital in Tokyo. She had time on her hands and wasn't much interested in her husband's baseball. The newsreels were still spinning the honeymoon lead, and few viewers even knew what Joe was up to. But the cameras show Marilyn alone. "10 days later, a plane from Tokyo landed at an American air base near Seoul, with Marilyn on board for a visit. She'd already traded in her dress and mink overcoat for far simpler attire, military fatigues. At least 3 cameramen filmed the Korean tour's opening stop. In only days, images of Marilyn in uniform would circle the globe. And from what better event than the Hollywood bombshells visit to GIs in a war-torn country, a country slowly extracting itself from 4 long, cold winters. 14 others made the trip, musicians, singers, an Army nurse, a friend, and the organizer of the tour. But we can't see them. They're still inside the plane, waiting for the photographers and the cameraman to finish their session with Monroe before coming out. But time is short. 2 shows are scheduled today at 2 different camps along the border. Surrounded by officers and military police, Monroe is hustled to the helicopter that will bring her to the first camp. With the exception of one public rehearsal with the band in a military hospital in Japan, it would be the first time Marilyn Monroe had ever performed in public, let alone toured. Only her musicians knew and fretted. The Marines had no idea. Time was another problem. Marilyn had agreed to 9 performances in 4 days. Staying on schedule was essential, as was her incessant smile. While the musicians set up, Marilyn poses with Gene O'Doul for the first of a long series of photo shoots. Everything, hairdo, makeup, and smile, are Hollywood perfect. The trick, of course, was to maintain the movie star image for 9 shows in 4 days in the bitter cold at the end of the world. Among the 3 songs she would interpret, one was already well known. Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Or ice or else no dice. He's your guy when stocks are high, but beware when they start to descend. It's then that those louses go back to their spouses. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I've heard of affairs that are strictly platonic, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. And I think affairs that you must keep Masonic are better bets. If little pets get big baguettes, time rolls on, and youth is gone, and you can't straighten up when you fail. But step back or step sneak, stand straight at me, and they say, no, 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 but do it again. My lips just ache to have you take the thing that's waiting for you. You know if you do, you won't regret it. Come and get it. No one is near. I may cry, oh, 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 but no one will hear. May come a time when Lassy's a lawyer, but diamonds are a true best friend. There may come a time that a hawthorn will buy you things here, awful nice. But get that ice or else no dice. He's your guy when stocks are high, but beware when they start to descend. It's then that those louses go back to their spouses. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Despite her total lack of experience, Marilyn pulled off this first performance, well, like a trooper, with no small touch of audacity. Bravo. But time is short. Look, even as she salutes the soldiers, the musicians are striking the equipment to load it back onto the helicopters to fly to the next gig. The tour organizers have a schedule to maintain. Like others before her, Monroe donated her time to sing for the soldiers. She asked for no amenities of any sort, only the presence of her friend Jean O'Doul. For 4 days in the Korean mountains, she sang the same short program, mingled with similar crowds of soldiers, and posed for the same photos and souvenirs. But by the time she returned to America, Marilyn Monroe's reputation had grown considerably. Monroe is met by the two-star commander, General McCarr. It's cold at the end of the day at an altitude of over 1,000 meters. And the unheated helicopter explains Jean O'Doul's heavy clothing. What about Marilyn? Marilyn tried to put on a good show, determined to get off that helicopter in her open-collar army fatigue shirt. It was a nice try, but the winter's too cold, and Monroe quickly recuperated her jacket. Everything otherwise resembles the visit to the Marine camp. Marilyn honored General McCarr's request for a photo. The race continues, and the 12,000 soldiers of the 7th Infantry Division are already waiting. They're late. The show wouldn't begin until night had fallen around 6 p.m., when it would be even colder. But Monroe was determined to wear the same dress she had for the Marines earlier in the day. And she did. After the show, Monroe on the 38th parallel and DiMaggio in Tokyo were connected by radio for a brief, much-quoted conversation. "Joe," she said, "you've never seen such crowds." To which the former baseball star apparently replied, "Yes, dear, I have." The next afternoon, Monroe would sing her 4th show on the tour, this time before 14,000 soldiers. No general is here to greet her beforehand, but the welcoming committee invites Monroe to ride through the camp on a Pershing combat tank. An ingenious idea for the cameras, but probably not too comfortable. But the idea of climbing into a tank doesn't seem to faze her. Neither does starting off in the giant Pershing. But was it really like cruising in a comfortable convertible on Sunset Boulevard? The weather turns bad. Rain starts. Rain along the 38th parallel in February is glacial. For the orchestra, it's a catastrophe. The stage is completely uncovered. The question on everybody's mind is whether Marilyn will come out to sing in the freezing rain. Certainly nobody on stage has a clue. The soldiers would be disappointed if the show stopped after they'd waited in the rain. While everyone waits for Marilyn, the singers and musicians do anything they can to entertain the 14,000 troops. The weather gets worse, and the soldiers increasingly impatient to see Marilyn Monroe. When she finally does appear in her low-cut dress, the orchestra is plenty relieved. And just as she... Did you see? Someone thought it best to wipe off the microphone with his hand. Then she signals and begins. 3 songs are planned and 3 are sung. Except that today, the rain and cold drives Marilyn back indoors to dry off and fix her hair between each song. Canceling the show was out of the question. On this afternoon, Marilyn Monroe is singing in the rain. The freezing rain. February 18th. The cameraman's clapboard indicates the date and the location. But Marilyn is spelled wrong. The I after the R is missing. The chances that Monroe noticed this detail are rare. She undoubtedly had other things on her mind. Yesterday, she'd caught a chill in the rain and cold. When we look more closely, the fatigue between poses shows. But for the photographers, the public smile covers the cold inside. This morning she will sing for the 2nd Infantry, who'd lost 7,000 men in the Korean War. For the GIs still stationed along the frozen 38th parallel, the visit must have seemed unreal. Here she was, the Hollywood star whose last 3 films were huge box office hits. Niagara, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and How to Marry a Millionaire. They played her records on the radio. And on top of that, the first issue of Playboy magazine featured naked photos of her. Second clap of the day, with the same spelling mistake. Despite the bitter cold, Marilyn Monroe wears the same summer dress. Let's look again more slowly. While she speaks to the crowd, band members are busy moving the piano closer. Why? So that the pianist can read Monroe's lips. Stage acoustics and band placement make it difficult for him to hear her. So they decide to move up closer and get Marilyn to turn sideways as often as possible so that the pianist can read her lips while she sings. The cold air rushing from her chest and lungs. Third clap. Marilyn's name is finally spelled correctly. Show over. Marilyn has a few free minutes, which the camera captures. What she does is revealing, the camera almost indiscreet. The woman casually bends over to chat with soldiers standing close to the stage. Simply. It's a rare human moment in an otherwise frantic tour that required the star to be on stage at all times. The available footage doesn't reveal whether she did so gracefully or not. 3 days in the faraway mountains in Korea document the cold and accumulated fatigue. But almost as parentheses, because editors generally use the same standard Hollywood image and little else. The next day, returned to Seoul and back to Tokyo, where DiMaggio was waiting. But Monroe was suffering from the early stages of pneumonia and would quickly be hospitalized when she got to Tokyo. But while the cameras click away here in Seoul, she continues to pose. The footage and photos of this tour would be seen on television, in movie theaters, and in the press, in America, Europe, and Japan. This is the Paramount newsreel that reported the tour. The title sets the tone.
Marilyn Monroe arrives in Korea to tour the front lines for 4 days. Hubby Joe DiMaggio is in Japan coaching Japanese baseball teams. Marilyn wears drab GI clothing as she meets the boys. No GI ever got such attention. The weather is cold, but nothing distracts from the enthusiasm of the welcome. Now, who'd want an air view at this time? In the natural and chilly outdoor bowl, Marilyn proves she's a real trooper. The hills are alive with troops as Marilyn puts on her act. Officers estimate that she plays to about 60,000 men in her first 2 days in Korea. There's agreement among soldiers and Marines, privates and commanding officers. Marilyn is tops. Says she, "Gosh, I've never seen so many men in my life."
The highlight of my life was singing for the soldiers there. I stood out on an open stage and it was cold, but I swear I didn't feel a thing except good. The diamonds are at your best friend. A good lady friend. But it won't pay the rental on your houseboat flat or help you at the automat. Men grow old, girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. We're
Oh, can we ask her about her health?
Were you going to studio to work this morning, Marilyn?
What's the picture? What picture are you working on now? That's right. Please go to work today.
Miss Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio are presently having differences which they have brought about a separation. Miss Monroe has decided to file an action for divorce in Southern California, and it will be on the usual and ordinary grounds of mental cruelty. There will be no property or financial disputes between these parties. Both of them regret the necessity of the action, but they feel that it is inevitable at this time.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
Will be the Sleeping Prince.
This is with Laurence Olivier.
Yes.
And you selected him because he is what? Marvelous?
Yes.
What do you do after that? What's the next one? Do you have anything lined up in the future then? Beyond the Sleeping Prince?
No, not.
Might you do another film with
talk about
Olivier?
now. Pardon?
Might you do another film with Olivier?
Well, there are no plans ahead of that, really. I mean, but they're indefinite, and we're still working on things.
How do you feel about coming back to Hollywood? Is it a happy time for you, or is it a place of
Yes,
sad
it is.
memories?
It's a very happy time. I'm happy to be back.
Glad
As
to be
I
back in
said,
the
it's
film land.
my hometown.
Yes.
Well, you're a happy girl now. When do you go to London?
Well,
Marilyn,
yes,
you haven't changed.
I'm much happier, though. I'm
How
very
do you-
pleased.
Do you feel, you said you wanted to grow. Do you feel you've grown?
Well, I hardly know how to answer that since they misinterpret that, meaning
I'm not
in inches or something.
I'm not talking about
You feel that the acting studio has added a lot to your career possibilities?
I think it's been very beneficial to me, very helpful.
How long have you been
from my
going
work.
there now?
Pardon?
How long have you been going there now?
Well, let's see, not quite a year.
You're going again then when you go back, I
Yes.
Well, Marilyn, speaking of measurements, are they still the same as when you left? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight? Have you
I think I'm about the same.
about the same?
Yes.
Nobody has any complaints.
I don't know.
Speak up, boys. You're wearing a high-neck dress now. The last time I saw you wear it. Is this a new Marilyn, a new style?
No, I'm the same person, but it's a different suit.
When are you going to start work on bus stop? When do you begin work?
I think the starting date is 15th of March.
15th of March.
I'm not sure of that. It might be before that. I have to report before that.
You're going to the
We
studio
have
on Monday.
wardrobe. Yes, I report Monday.
You're
I am
the person
working,
you
but,
want today.
you know, I'll be working, and I have been, and studying everything, so I haven't really had the time. But there'll be time for everything, I'm sure, ahead.
Marilyn, all we know is what we've been reading from the stories from New York about you. Now, I saw a quote that you and Joe DiMaggio are friends at a distance. How great a distance?
Well, we haven't seen each other.
Do you hear from each other? Do you write and talk?
I'd rather not answer.
You'd rather not, all right, fine. Well, now, Grace has gotten herself a prince. Do you think you might find yourself a prince? Or at least a duke? Or you're going to England.
I'm not particular.
You know? You're not particular?
Would you like to find yourself? Would you like to find yourself a prince?
Not particularly.
That's a good man, I know.
Maybe she doesn't even want to find a man right now. You're so busy. Time for romance while you're out here? Tell me, Marilyn, now do you understand the business aspects of your company? Or do you run it? Does Mr. Green run it? We're all confused on this. We hear so many.
Well, I'm aware of what's going on with the company.
You are. Do you make the decisions? Are you the boss lady?
Oh, no, well, I'm the president. Mr. Green is the vice president, and then there are other members in our company.
Yes.
All the major decisions are referred to you, of course, aren't they?
Marilyn, are you happy to come back and do this picture? Are you pleased with the picture bus stop?
Oh, yes, very much. I'm looking forward to working with Josh Logan and doing the picture, and it's good to be back.
Was he your selection as a director?
20th Century Fox selected him, and I have director approval, and they asked if I would approve of him, and definitely
You did. So you're very happy. You think you're going to make a very good picture?
I hope it will be a good picture.
Do you have any preference for a leading man?
That's up to 20th Century Fox.
Entirely? You have leading man approval?
No.
No?
But I'm sure they have very good judgment.
Tell me, Marilyn, is it true that you submitted a list of directors that you would work with? We only know the rumors we hear, you know.
I would rather say that I have director approval, and that is true.
This you think is important?
Yes, it is. Very important to me.
You were here before?
No, it's not that.
You toured a little in your outlook and your attitude towards life in general?
Gee, I hope so, since it's a year. You've read
Miss Monroe, could you tell us what kind of a wedding you're going to have?
Very quiet, I hope.
Do you feel certain at this time that you will be able to get away to go to England?
I feel certain I'm going to try awfully hard. Well, we just had a terrible accident on this road as a result of the mobs that have been coming by here. And I knew that was going to happen, at least I suspected it was, because these roads were made for horse carts and not for automobiles, and people who don't know them oftentimes smash up around here. And I asked the press to assemble all at once today so that the pictures could be taken that are wanted, in the hope that that could be avoided every day in the week. I'm not going to say where we will be married for just that reason, because I think it's time enough for everybody to know when it happens.
Somebody should question you. Somebody should question you.
I think, why don't you...
All right. Look, the way we always were, I'm not sure what it's forcing you to do.
Who's going to question you?
We'll all three question.
All right, fine.
This is the way we always work.
Mr. Miller, with a little bit of peace until it happens. So that's about it.
Miller, have you heard yet on your passport?
No, I haven't.
Mr. Miller, about that, the House Committee gave you 10 days, I believe, to give the names of the people you didn't give when you were at the hearing down there. Have you any comment about that at this time?
Well, that's business between the Congress and myself, and I don't think that it is proper for me to make any comment at this time.
But would you answer this, Mr. Miller? At the time you refused to name names, would you tell us why you refused to?
It's all in the record.
Well, I wonder if you'd state it here.
I'm not in a situation now where I would want to go into that. I think it's all quite clearly stated in the record of the Congress, and I'll stand by that.
In the event that you are not able to go, will Miss Monroe still go?
Oh, sure. She's got to go. She's got a contract to go.
Well, that means you may not have a honeymoon together then.
I think we will.
I hope so.
Miss Monroe, a school teacher just got a letter from an 11-year-old boy in which he was to write about 3 wishes, what he would do with 3 wishes. And he said that he would like money first, and second, to be an engineer, and third, he said, when I grow up, I'd like to have a blonde. She has to have blue eyes. She has to be like Marilyn Monroe. This is my life. Now, you were the 3rd choice on that.
I'm flattered.
Miss Monroe, a rival of yours, and Miss Diana Dawes, has arrived in the United States. Is your going to England just a coincidence, or is it any kind of an exchange arrangement? So we won't be lonesome while you're gone.
Well, I'm afraid not. We've made arrangements about the Sleeping Prince, well, nearly a year ago. I mean, it's been going on.
Well, have you met Diana Dawes?
No, I've never met her.
Have you ever seen her in films? You ever seen her act?
No, I haven't.
Then you're not in a position to comment on.
Sorry.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Could we just have...
Mr. Miller, Miss Monroe, yesterday you didn't know when you were going to get married. Do you know today?
It'll be in July before the 13th.
No definite date has been set.
I haven't got one yet.
Where are you going to be married, Mr.
I wish I could tell you at this moment. It's in the... I'm arranging it.
Suppose Mr. Miller doesn't get a passport. Are you prepared to change your plans in any way?
There's no change.
No change of plans.
Mr. Miller.
What do you think of this whole ruckus, Mr. Miller?
It's good you only get married once.
honeymoon couple arrive at London Airport, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Miller. Mrs. Miller's better known as Marilyn Monroe. Arthur is one of America's most brilliant playwrights. He wrote Death of a Salesman. Marilyn's come to England to film The Sleeping Prince with Sir Laurence Olivier, who's here with his wife to meet them. A marriage of brains and beauty. But don't let anyone tell you Arthur's got all the brains.
She's here, said the headlines, and everyone knew they meant the American film star with the famous shape and the wiggly walk. London Airport was all keyed up for Marilyn's arrival. She was met by Sir Laurence Olivier and his wife Vivian Leigh. Miss Monroe is Mrs. Miller now. That's her playwright husband. Next, a press interview, but this had its difficulties. It went something like this.
Now, wait a minute. Miss Monroe, please. Miss Monroe.
What do you think of Miss Dawes, you see?
Later, at a London hotel, Marilyn agreed to face the cameras again. Once more, it became abundantly clear that her worldwide fame and popularity made her visit to Britain front-page news. We hope she'll like filming over here and thoroughly enjoy her stay.
It was the night of nights in the West End, the Queen's attendance at the Royal Film Performance. Thousands outside the theatre saw the stars arrive. Victor Mature earned a cheer, but perhaps it was Marilyn Monroe with dramatist husband Arthur Miller who excited onlookers most. Her Majesty spoke to Lady Harwood, widow of the Commodore who commanded the Battle of the River Plate, and to Captain Bell, who commanded HMS Exeter. Now it was the turn of the stars. Anita Ekberg, John Gregson, that great and popular veteran A.E. Matthews, and then Marilyn Monroe herself.
How have you been following the trial?
I've been following it.
Have you been reading the papers about it?
I'd rather not comment on that.
How long have you been here, Miss Monroe?
Since the beginning of the trial.
Just staying in the house here?
That's right.
Has the trial upset your personal life to any degree, Miss Monroe?
I would like to say that I'm fully confident that in the end my husband will win this case.
And it didn't upset your professional career at all? It didn't stop anything you were working on at the time?
No, I haven't been working recently.
What are your plans when you return to New York?
Well, we hope to go back to our normal life.
Would you care
That's
to
all.
comment on one room of Miss Monroe?
Careful, man. Can you come about the appeal? What did he say? He says too early to know now. Can you move that car out of the way? Mr. Miller, are you very disappointed at the decision of the court? Mrs. Miller, do you have any comment on the crime?
With the loud, well-publicized crash.
All right, guys, give us our shot.
Marilyn, what's the reason for the breakup? Could you tell us?
I'm sorry.
Marilyn, are you going to seek a divorce?
Please, I can't talk about my personal life.
Cars in this way.
What are your plans now? How are you feeling?
I feel wonderful, thank you.
Please. Now, get that pass, Claire. Huh? Push them off. Get them off. Get them off. Get them off. Get them off, fellas. How about the movie? All the way. Come on.
Marilyn.
How about Cleopatra? Would you consider that role? Let me get into the car, please. I don't know.
Much better, thank you. Thank you. What's that? I'm feeling much better, thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. We're going to call her. You say you're feeling better?
Yes, much better, thank you. Carol, honey, go to Mary, Carol. I didn't have any answers now.
Thank you.